is a demo of my system for keeping ice from filling up tanks that you don't want to. So the concept here is you separate the production of the ice into either hydrogen and or oxygen by using connectors on the same ship, then lock those in the appropriate sections. So here we have green representing the base. We have yellow representing an ice reserve, so you can pull the ice from the ship into the reserve. After that, we have a connection for all the ice generators, the oxygen generators or gas generators, depending on whatever they change the name to. Then there's a connector to the actual tanks that's going to go into, and that's so that the tank can be separated on both sides. And the tank connects back into the base itself, so that you can disconnect the generators, then have the tank connect to the base, and then from there it can be transferred into the base's tanks. And this works for oxygen and hydrogen. So first let's go in. Got it set up as a nice demo. I'm also going to publish this blueprint so that you can also test it in Survival 1X right now. I've loaded it up with ice in the base here, and that is displayed here on the screen. Awesome LCD script by a master. That's the amount of the ice in the reserves, and the sections are labeled so you can see what's going on. Getting in the cockpit, there's the commands, control the connectors, and I have just the first connector on each section, and I've left them show on HUD so you can see what they are. So the first connector on the command bar is the base to the reserves. The second one is the reserve to the gens. Third one is the generators to the hydrogen tanks. Then the hydrogen tanks back to the base. So basically you never want to have both sides of the oxygen generator connected to the base at the same time. So first let's load up the ice from the base into the reserves by locking that connector. And now it'll start transferring with the sorter the ice into the reserves. This will take a few minutes to pull, seconds, to pull all the ice. As much fits in those containers. I've also set it up here in this demo to be expandable. You can see the ship over there only has one gas generator, and it's way too slow for the demo, so I actually went and added a bunch of gas generators here, so there's enough to actually make a fast visible difference, so they wouldn't take forever to do it. The concept works no matter how many generators you have, as long as you have one. And you can also increase the reserve size. Now it's full, so I'm going to disconnect that side too, and then lock the generator side, connecting the reserves to the generators. Now they'll pull ice from those reserves to them. And then I can also lock tank side, so now the generators will be generating ice into the main tank. Or it would if there wasn't this bug, which I will submit separately. They don't actually generate into the tank until you get out of the cockpit. And you can see, if I look to my left here, there's the tank. I can verify that by going in the inventory menu. It's the production tank, and it's not changing. But if I get out of the cockpit, it will suddenly start changing. Now it's going up. If I get back in the cockpit, it doesn't stop. It's just that it doesn't take the lock change for the conveyor network until I get out of the cockpit. It's been going on for quite a while. I reported this at least a couple months ago. But otherwise this system would be super nice. When the bug is fixed, it will be even better. Alright, so then after the ice has been generated, you may have to cycle through the connecting back to the reserves. Let's see if it's used up. So as you can see, the ice in the reserves has been used up. So we'll disconnect number 4, this command bar, the reserve to the gen, and connect the reserves back up to the base. Then we'll pull the ice into there. And this is so that the generators are never connected to the base, so they can't put oxygen or hydrogen into a base tank. The only way to get it is through the production tank. And we can see that now the hydrogen tank is filling up. All those generators, it still takes a good amount of time to fill up. Reserves are almost full. Disconnect them. Connect them back up. Guys, generators, so they can pull all of that. That gets to empty. Disconnect it, reconnect it to the base, so we can keep the generators in ice. We could also increase the size of the reserve by adding more cargo containers, but that's part of the point, is that it's expandable. We could also increase the pull rate by adding more connectors on the other side too. Sorters, I mean. Alright, so let's pretend our tank is good enough, or we need the hydrogen or oxygen in our main tanks. So what we're going to do is disconnect generators from the production tank. So that connector there on the right, and that is with number 6. This command bar. Then we're going to connect the tank. It's connected over here back to the base, and that's number 8. So now that that tank is connected to the base, I also have the base set to stockpile, so it'll pull from the other tank. And again, there's this bug where it won't change until I get out of the cockpit. If I get out of the cockpit, then it will start pulling. Now it's pulling that stuff from the production tank because it's connected. That will empty the production tank. Now go back and disconnect the production tank from the base. And now I'll reconnect the generators back to the tank 6 so that they can keep generating. You could pulse this over time. And it looks like the reserves are full, so I'm going to disconnect them from the base, connect them to the generators, let them pull more ice. You do burn through the ice pretty quickly. Pull it all here. Almost all. And now again, the connectors have changed. Generators are connected through the connector to the tank. Again, it won't change until I get out of the cockpit. And now it'll start putting the hydrogen in the production tank. If I only had one generator, oxygen generator there, this number would be moving really slow. It's not moving super duper fast now, but got like 12 right now. They didn't quite pull all of the ice reserves. So anyway, that's the system. It's relatively simple, except for the bug problem. So again, it's the base is separated from reserves so that the ice can be stored without the generators touching the base with a sorter to pull, and also limit the connector between the reserves and the generators. You can add as many generators as you need. But a connection between the tank that you're filling, and you can actually fill oxygen, have two separate for oxygen and hydrogen. You really only need one production tank to put stuff into, because the idea is you fill it up and then you dump it out into the base. And then a connection on the other side of the tank that connects back to the base, so that you can have that be disconnected while the generator's here, so the gas or whatever generating can't go back through the other way. And that's pretty much the system, except for the bug problem. And thanks for watching. I have this posted, the blueprint posted, so you can test it out too. And I'll also post a bug report separately. Thank you.